button. Hello, welcome to EGX 2019. It's 2019, isn't it?
It is.
And I'm here, I'm Martin from Eurogamer. I'm here with Paul, the sole developer of Horace.
Hello.
One of the best games, I think, of the year. And there goes the alarm for us as well. So yeah, we're just here just to talk through kind of the development of Horace, what it's like making a game on your own, and a little bit about the game's background. So first, I guess, tell us a bit about yourself, how you came to make Horace.
Let's see. I've been in the video games industry for 25 years now. I started as an artist and worked for various companies, but I was then freelancing in 2012 and decided to get my finger out and make my own game, which is where Horace has come from. And here we are 7 years later, basically. And
you worked on some quite fascinating games before you came to Horace, didn't you? Kind of give us a quick resume of what you worked on.
If you say so.
I think they're interesting.
When I was 17, I worked on Die Hard Trilogy and Alien Trilogy. I also worked on the Batman game, which came out that time, which I can't remember which one it was. I then ended up working for a subsidiary of Sony called Picture House, and we made a game called Terracon, which was remarkably well received, but nobody bought it. That's the tale of my life. I make games that people like, but nobody buys them. Yeah, that's about it, really.
So what made you kind of want to kind of branch out on your own and make a game yourself?
I was sick of working for other people.
Fair enough.
No, it's very easy to... Once I was in the industry, it was very easy to just sit back and be an artist and plod along. I mean, in the last 10 years, I've worked on a High School Musical game. I worked on the Doctor Who games. Big budget things that aren't particularly rewarding, shall we say. So yeah, off the back of that, I basically wanted to do as much as I could on my own. And then I made Horace almost entirely by my own.
What was kind of the kernel of Horace then? It's a very... Have you played Horace here? Have either you played Horace? A little bit. It's good, stick with it. What was kind of the kernel of Horace? What did you kind of start out to do, first of all?
I wanted to make a reasonably simple, old-fashioned, story-driven platform game. And then, I'm just trying to think when it was, I think it was 2012, I saw Indie Game the Movie, which of course features Meat Boy, Fez and Braid. And I suddenly thought, hang on, I can do that. So I did.
Was it that easy? I mean, how many years ago did you...
No, it was terrible.
How many years ago did you start working on Horace then? This must have been quite a while ago.
7 years ago, July just gone. So, yeah.
And you've been working pretty much on your own for that whole time?
I worked on my own for the first 3.5 years. I taught myself to code and did everything from the art, design, coding, music. But then when I signed with 505, I decided it would probably be better to get someone else involved, otherwise I would still be making it now. So I got my friend Sean involved, who did 80–90% of the coding. But unfortunately, I still did everything else, which is why I'm now mental.
I was going to say, how do you keep sane for that, working on your own for that long?
I haven't. I barely leave the house. This was a big effort coming here today. I don't really want to talk about mental health. I'm sure there are far better people to talk about it than me. But yeah, don't try and make a video game by yourself.
But it feels like, it does feel, in a good way, it feels like a solo person. It feels like one man's kind of obsessions, basically, Horace.
Yeah.
So what kind of are your obsessions? What kind of influences on Horace?
Well, the main one, and I just gave you a copy of it on DVD, is the film Being There, starring Peter Sellers from 1980, about a mentally handicapped man who has never left his house. And when he does, he goes on a big adventure, which was essentially the story of Horace.
It's an interesting kind of reference point as well, having quite an obscure, I think, Peter Sellers comedy.
Yeah. It's the one no one remembers. It was the last one he did. So it got Oscars, though. It's a very good film.
I'd never heard of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, basically.
He's good. He's, yeah. well, I spent the last 7 years making a game about it, essentially. I must say, for legal reasons, it's not actually being there.
But it's a game that's also crammed with references. There's so many references to Outrun, to kind of, well, to every video game I've ever played, it seems. How do you kind of wrangle all that stuff in there?
Yeah, I like video games. So I wanted to reference or put in something for most of the games that I like. So it's, yeah, as you say, it's full of Outrun and Space Harrier and various other things. Again, for legal reasons, it's not Outrun or Space Harrier.
Did you come into any trouble? Because some of them are quite close. Some of those references do cut quite close to the bone.
I don't know, it's not my job, that's 505.
Speaking of 505, I think they obviously helped make it a reality as well. Kind of, what was it like as an indie trying to find a kind of publisher for a game like this?
It was all right. What did I do? I got a demo together, which was the first sort of 10% of the game, and then I shopped that around a few people who were mildly interested, but I ended up taking it to a conference called Interface. And I had 6 meetings, 3 of the publishers were interested, and then 505 gave me the best deal.
What was it you think that kind of appealed to them about Horace?
When I spoke to Ted, the acquisitions guy, I'm pretty sure the story and the characters were the main things. Within the first 15, 20 minutes, there are some hallucinogenic cutscenes, shall we say. And yeah, that usually goes down pretty well with people.
Is that this kind of Stargate sequence from 2001 kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And just on that piece itself, it's such an impressive aping of that Stargate thing. It must be quite hard to program, just getting that.
It was 2 flat polygons in 3D Studio, one above the other, with a big long texture on it. And then I ran a camera straight down it. Took an afternoon to do.
That's kind of very similar to how Douglas Trumbull did it. That's a really boring conversation.
It's literally how they did the original one.
Did you just copy? Did you look at how he did those effects and then kind of reverse engineered it for a video game? Oh wow.
Yeah, just but in 3D Studio in low bit textures.
It works really, really well.
Thank you.
Obviously, the game as well, it's been so long in development. How much did it change from kind of what you first imagined it was going to be to what finally released this year?
Very little.
That's quite impressive.
Wrote the script and the outline and design document and that 4 years ago, and it got cut down a bit at the end, basically so I could finish it. But other than that, pretty much everything is in.
Did you have a kind of particular story that you wanted to tell as well? And was it kind of was it a personal story to you? What was that kind of story that you wanted to tell?
Yeah, I wanted to tell the life of a robot.
Yeah.
It is very personal. Lots of characters in it represent friends and family, but in an abstract sense. So unless you know me really well, you won't necessarily get it.
How have friends and family kind of responded to it?
Really well. I mean, there's 2 characters that are literally 2 of my best friends, and they find it absolutely hilarious. And when I spoke to them, when they'd finished playing it, they said it was like looking inside my mind.
That's quite a terrifying prospect, I think.
It is.
They get to know you a little bit. Yeah. And kind of how has it gone? How has it been kind of trying to find an audience for it as well? I know it's difficult these days to find an audience.
It's been frustrating in that everyone or most people that seem to play it absolutely seem to love it. It's just a case of getting people to play it. Please play my game, please.
So everyone who's played it, I haven't seen anyone say a bad word about it, basically. Everyone who's played it absolutely falls head over heels with it.
I didn't catch a word of that.
Everyone who plays it falls head over heels with it. So
yes,
it's definitely,
very much so.
It's definitely just a case of trying to get people to play it.
Yes.
And kind of, so what's the next steps for you then? Where do you go after Horace? What are you up to now?
I don't really know. Hopefully we'll be doing console stuff. But other than that, I want to take some time off so I can have some sleep.
That seems fair enough.
I do have more game ideas. So there will be another sprawling pixel art based platform game coming soon. Well, 5 years.
Is it something you'd want to do again, though, go through that kind of 7 years of isolation?
Yeah, probably. I am now resigned to being insane and living indoors and just making video games.
But you enjoyed it, basically. You come out of it and it's a good experience, yeah. So.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I tend to make video games so that I don't have to talk to people. So this is all very alien.
Sorry, I try and make it as painless as possible.
It's fine. I need to do it.
And what's it with the game is also on the show floor if you want to check it out. What's it been like seeing people play the game?
Oh, it's been great. Like, I've only seen people play it on Twitch, so it's really nice being able to say hello to people and watch them smiling at the right bits and getting the jokes and everything is great.
And kind of, you mentioned console versions just then. Is that something which is on the horizon? Because every time I see someone mention Horace, write about it, everyone's like, this looks great, I'm going to play it when it comes to console.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, every other message to me on Twitter is someone asking when's it coming out on Switch. So I figured we should at least do a Switch version. But again, that's down to the good people at 505. Okay. So if everyone wants to write in and tell them we should make consoles, that would be great.
So maybe now's not a time for announcing console plans, but hopefully something might happen in the future. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So kind of, what else have kind of takes your attention? What else are you playing at the moment? What kind of the games that grasp your attention?
I don't know, I haven't played much recently. I played chess. I loved Undertale. I started playing Deltarune. I haven't got very far.
It feels quite, like, Horace feels quite of a piece of Undertale as well. It's quite a personal story it's telling through quite traditional kind of methods.
Yes.
Undertale came out while it was developing Horace, I guess.
It did, yeah. I'd already written all of Horace and was 3 years in, I think. Several people seem to think there's a bit in Horace where it goes black and white, 2-colour sprites and stuff like that, and several people seem to think that that's a reference to Undertale. It's actually a reference to the ZX Spectrum, as I'm sure you're aware. Yeah, but I tend to smile and nod. If people want to think it's a reference to Undertale, I'm happy for them to think that. It's a great game. I'm happy to reference it.
So what would be kind of your message to people to kind of get them to play Horace? How would you sell it to them to say, like, to play my game?
It's a really nice story about an innocent robot saving the world, combined with lots of platform gameplay that constantly change, and many, many mini-games. And
also many references which are very region-specific, I think, as well. Like, it's a very British game.
Well, if you're from Sittingbourne in Kent, it will mean a lot more to you than if you're from anywhere else.
How many people live in Sittingbourne? Is that?
The main town is Sittingbourne High Street.
Wow. So have the people of Sittingbourne been made aware that you're...
Oh, sorry. No, I don't think anyone particularly knows. Maybe I should tell them. We don't have a newspaper or anything anymore, unfortunately, so there's no one to tell.
But yeah, as I said, Horace is just one of the highlights of the year. Everyone should go and play it. It's a fantastic thing. We've got time for any questions, if anyone does have any questions at all. There'll be a microphone just there. Or you can also come back and speak to us afterwards. We'll just be hanging out, so if you want to come and have a chat, that's more than okay. And yeah, that's Horace.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, as I say, any questions, feel free to chat to us just over there. I think you're going to be here all weekend as well, aren't you?
I will be here all weekend.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us. Come back. I think there's something else on here at 6 o'clock. I think there's a movie showing. So yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.